Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to another. Just switched on. Yes, it is. Hello everybody. Welcome back to another vlog from the Vlog Corner. Here, I'm your host. I'm your humble host, Mike Mo. Here on a Friday night about 10:30. Um, so two things I have to say. One, um, I have the trip is all set for New York. The hotel has been set. Thanks to Tom's mom. And the bus has been set by him. So everything's all set. I just have to pay both of them back um, and everything. And he's obviously going to have to pay um, his his end of it to his mom. So we're both paying his mother out, and I'm paying. Of course, I'm paying his half. He paid his half. I have to pay my half. Second, I actually did a very good deed today. Before I get onto the analysis of Perfect Blue Part 2, which will probably take after I do this intro, is that I actually asked I talked to our HR about April's hours, and I actually put in a good word for her that she actually can do more than just backroom and stuff, and I'm happy to report that she's actually getting shifts during the day with pricing, which should be interesting because she's done pricing before and she's trying to expand her horizons. I just helped her out a little bit, of course. So I did a good deed for today, even when she wasn't there. But then again, I did sales for today, but I'm not going to talk about that. So yeah, and I think I'm going to do inbound on not this week, but next week. So, and I believe we're going to hit 20. We're probably going to hit 25, 26 vlogs. I have this one to shoot, the next one tomorrow to shoot, the 30th, and then the 31st on Sunday, and then the 1st, of course, of April for April Fool's Day, which will be interesting. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys that thing. Everything's all set. I'm excited to go to New York. It's going to be amazing. Tom just laid out the plan. We just laid out the plan. We're just going to make sure we know the drill when it gets closer. I'm just gonna. I'm sorry. It's been a long day, guys. Sorry, it's been a long day, and I'm just bushed. It's been a long week too. So I actually just found out that well, I actually found out that Anime Boston is going to be the same week that I'm actually going to New York. So no love loss. Not seeing April at work. So or she not seeing me at work those days. But on to my analysis of Perfect Blue. So if you guys remember, I left off. I was talking about Madness Blue, whatever. So I did some. So I did some. So I took a look at what happened and um, it's an amazing film, I have to say. For transitioning to Perfect Blue. So, Perfect Blue, for those of you who don't know, is watch the first video from the 20 from the not the 28th but the 27th. So Perfect Blue is about this pop idol that wants to go into the acting business and everything, and you find out that she has trouble with her image and her identity, blurring fantasy into reality, and the movie does it quite ingeniously. You really don't know who's who and whatever. Now, the one thing a lot of people get screwed up on is who's actually committing the murders. A lot of people think that the stalker, the weird disfigured stalker, Mimania, is doing the murders. You remember there's a Mima's page or Mima's Life or whatever, and basically Rumi, who's playing the fake identity of Mima, basically her alter ego of Mima, is communicating with Mimania and Mimania is telling her to eliminate the people that are ruining her image and his perception of her, because in Mimania's perception, she will remain this pop idol forever. That she's this sweet, innocent person, and that's the image he captured. Because at the beginning of the film, he cups her and he cups while she's on stage, while she's dancing. He holds her in the palm of her hand. That's the image he sees of her. And as she matures and as she goes through all the different scenes and being a TV actress, which, as I said in the last video, actually, it's funny. It's about a psychiatrist that's trying to talk to the sister of somebody who's gone crazy, and it kind of plays into the role a little bit. So you end up finding out that Rumi, who is the failed idol, living vicariously off Mima, ends up killing off anybody that hurt her career and hurt her mentally, because there's one scene where Mima agrees to this scene, and the scene I was thinking of last night, when thinking of the other night, when she was when Mima's in the bathtub. If you guys watch the movie, Mima's in the bathtub. It's from Requiem in a Dream with Jennifer Connelly. For those of you guys who know it, you guys will know the scene perfectly, where she actually does scream just like Mima does in the TV anime movie. But there's one scene where she actually agrees to do a rape scene, and I'm actually going to say this. They actually reference this, but no studio was going to take it, so they actually had to film it in a real strip club. What's very disturbing is Mima's actually dressed in a outfit that is very similar to her idol outfit in a way, and it's really traumatizing for her, because Rumi ends up having a mental break right there and then, seeing her young actress slash former pop idol basically not getting taken advantage of psychologically, but all physically, but also psychologically. And it's also where Mima actually, and when now that she's having all these hallucinations, seeing virtual or fake Mima in her daily life, she also begins to hallucinate Mimania as a stalker who's really supposed to be Rumi. Her psychological trauma basically stems all that madness, and that's when the color red becomes more prominent in the film. Every time she deals with a psychological thing, either a hallucination or a manifestation, there's always a symbol to tell you when she's hallucinating, when she's real. I'll tell you an example. When she's in her room, when you go in the fish, now fish symbol innocence, of course, in their nature, and seeing as Mima is a victim of all this, she's the innocent one, and the dead ones mean loss of innocence. Almost, it could signal Rumi or her innocence as a person, because she's growing up, her image is scarred, and everything. It's quite the realization. In what Steven scares Rumi, the manager's room is modeled after when she was an idol, when Mima was an idol, and everything. And as I said, there's a Groundhog Day reference in there where she actually wakes up from her dreams and it's the same thing. So that can be scary. And I also mentioned Pirandello. Pirandello is a pretty big influence. You guys will look it up. Especially the fight at the end, where Mima is basically fighting a false self and it's a false self versus the real self of everything, and it's really, really disturbing on how it ends. And then, I was good talking about madness and psychological psychosis. When Mima hits Rumi out of the way of the truck, which you see actually near the beginning of the film, that symbolizes Mima basically transferring her madness, her stress, and her psychological strain onto Rumi, and it actually ends up with Rumi in a mental ward at the end of the film. Meanwhile, Mima is basically in a successful actress, just living her life, basically. The movie's quite complex. You almost have to watch the movie at least 2-3 times. I watched it 2 and I now get it. I now get it that Rumi was asking, that Mimania was actually asking Rumi to commit the murders because, and I actually found this very symbolic, because we're dealing with a psychological, driven crimes and everything, and a mind screw. The tool to murder all these people is a screwdriver. I found that very disturbing. But anyway, it is what it is. The movie is now probably one of my top movies, animated movies of all time now. Did it make me gasp at some of the scenes? Yes. Did it shock me? Yes. Did it really turn my brain inside out? No. This time I sort of was ready for it this time. But yeah, it's really nasty, and as I said in the last video, blue can symbolize madness. And then at the end of the film, kind of found this kind of interesting. The reason why it's called Perfect Blue is because the color blue is actually referenced at the end of the movie. Tokyo is in this deep, dark, bluish black tone. It's a look into the abyss, like Rear Window. That blue signals madness and falling into that madness, psychological hallucinations and depression. And it shifts up to the sky at the end, signaling, sanity and the change in, she goes from this insane mental break to, just living a normal life. How color, it was symbolic. Red plays a huge part, but that blue at the end, it really does. And it is the reason why a lot of people don't get the film. So, yeah. All right, guys, I've already talked enough about Perfect Blue. This is analysis part 2. No, this is not a separate video. This is not part of day 880, whatever it was, 881, 882. This is going to be 884, 885, I believe it is, for March 29th, 2019. I just want to say, guys, I'm not going to record gameplay this weekend. I might for Sunday. We'll see. I'm not sure. And everything. So yeah, I implore you guys to check out Perfect Blue. I will warn you, before I'll put a disclaimer in the description of both videos, actually. Just to warn you, it's a very mature rated film. The version I watched was actually uncut. You're not going to miss much with the censored version, to be honest. And there's a dub, but I suggest doing the sub instead of the dub. There are elements of I shouldn't say explicit content, but there's violence, gore. There is a rape scene. There is partial, depending on what version, there's partial nudity to full nudity. In it, it's it's a Japanese anime film. But if you get the censored version, but if you want to, you'll get the full effect either way, depending on, and everything. And the movie will roast your brain first time around, so you do actually have to take a breath and sit back and then watch it again later if you dare, because when April said that if April Gamble, my friend, said it messes with your head, it messes with your head, and it's supposed to be a brain twister. As I said in my first video ages ago, I think it was July-ish, this movie basically takes your brain and turns it, and hits frappe, because it's supposed to do that, but it makes you think the more times you see it. But yeah, all right, guys, I'm gonna end for today. I've already said the date, but I'm not gonna do my normal ending. I'll resume my normal ending tomorrow. But yeah, guys, I'm just gonna say, long live America, God bless America, long live America, long live the First Amendment, and the Second Amendment. Amen to the grandparents. All right, everybody, peace. Sends the broadcast for tonight.